What is up, Edison Duelists? I have a replay here against Hero Beat. I'm running the original Yubel deck that I said I'd play in last video. The original one by Yubel Master, and yeah, we got a replay here. And so I'm gonna explain what happened. So I recorded like a 40-minute video of me playing against this fellow or against my opponent, and yeah, I made so many misplays that was just like terrible. And like I just need to just explain all my misplays and just like I don't know. I'm gonna take the uncut footage and well, it's kind of uncut. There's like one cut, but it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna put it into an unlisted playlist on my channel, and yeah, but let's just get on with the replay. Yeah, I am not used to playing this deck like at all. It is just bad. Anyways, so first misplay. In this hand, you definitely just set Mystic Tomato. I don't know what I'm playing against, so but Armageddon is always good, but I think it's better to just have Mystic Tomato just to tutor stuff. I mean, Mystic Tomato is literally an Armageddon, but and I could just normal Armageddon next turn instead of just leaving this as like a body that doesn't really do anything. Granted, I mean it's a safe play. And then you could arguably set like a compulsory with tomato, I think. And I think that'd be more resilient than just normal Armageddon and Iron Wall, which is what I ended up doing. So I sent Shaman, pretty standard. He draws, right? This is what happens. My Armageddon just gets outed. Granted, compulsory in this matchup is okay. It kind of trades with Miracle Fusion, but not favorably. But in bouncing hero monsters does basically nothing. So he sets call. Okay. And basically I'm just like when you don't play things that stick, you basically play into back row like insanely hard. Because unless you have extenders in hand, um, yeah, then you're basically just like leaving yourself very open. So I pitch, obviously Ultimate Nightmare is a break. Send Yubel, we're getting the setup, we're getting the Shaman Yubel setup. So basically more cards in our deck will be good, like top decking, right? We crash. There's an argument not to crash, but I think it's like I don't know. He's probably like maybe he normals something else and kills Greffer. Maybe I don't know. I possibly should have just forced him to do it. But granted, I mean it's kind of the correct play. He has an alias. But I mean hindsight, Shadows. My turn. I draw Armageddon. Kind of expected. Um, a rule of thumb. I mean, I've said this in my last video, but the rule of thumb is if you run a card at 3, you don't mind top decking it. You don't mind seeing 2 copies in your opening hand. So yeah, in this, I just kind of hold like basically I have Foolish plus Armageddon, which are kind of redundant. And the only thing I really need in my graveyard is a Dark Tinker to have the full setup. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I don't think running Armageddon or I mean Necroruna is good. I'm just like, what other? There's no really other value I can get off of these burials and these foolishes. So I just set Tomato, and I don't bother setting Compulse. You draw Typhoon, normals, attacks. Um, Here's another misplay. I should have just went into another Tomato to then go into Sangan. Granted, he could have not attacked the Mystic Tomato, but he ended up. I was thinking it's like, oh, if he doesn't attack that, it's less. I guess that's more vulnerable than a Sangan. But then he just ends up attacking it, and I'm just like, damn, you're just giving me a search. That's crazy. But then it's like I'm down a body, right? I mean, I don't really have a way to convert Sangan just being on field or Mystic Tomato just being on field. I mean, granted, what I search off Sangan is kind of anyways. Like honestly, I probably should have searched something else. Looking at the deck list, I mean, the best thing to search is like I mean, Yubel's already in the grave. Maybe like a monk. It's kind of a lot of. I mean, this consistency is important, but anyways. Yeah, so basically, I grabbed Lone Fire, and I could have done this off a tomato just being on field, and I could have grabbed something else. And I'm kind of questioning what that something else could have been. Maybe it could have been Dark Tinker because Dark Tinker in hand is basically just like it having, it's basically like it being in the graveyard. There's also technically I could have kept tomato on field, grabbed Tinker, made a synchro. That also could have been something I do, but I ended up going for a different play. So I iron wall the play around stuff, and basically I don't go for Lone Fire because Lone Fire and Tomato doesn't really out anything, and I don't want this Ocean to get value by him bouncing his Stratos, but unfortunately he has Call. So I Iron Wall the player on Bottomless. I kill this. I set my Compulsory now. He hits it, and I'm just like, wow, you don't want to out this Iron Wall? Like, okay. But then he bounces Stratos and gets a +1. Fortunate. Kills Greffer. Man, this card is so broken, but whatever. It's uh, it's pretty normal. It's the pot of greed in the format. Sets the Starlight. So he has no back row, but I just have basically no play. Like these two cards are basically just out of my head in the whole game. Granted, I draw a Reborn spell, which is nice. So I Lone Fire into Tomato. And I go through the motions. I go into another Tomato. Tomato. This is my last target, I think. Armageddon into Tinker, so my deck is nicely thinned. It's kind of how thin usually like decks usually get. But yeah, he draws Upstart. He bounces. I expected this, so yeah, Limit Reverse plays around just back row pops. So yeah, I can Chain Link to Reborn Yubel and get into Incarnate. It does not miss timing. Because the last thing to happen on field was the back row just getting popped. Summon the Incarnate. He upstarts. Kills Armageddon. Yeah, the unfortunate thing about this deck is like there's just not many big beaters outside of like Shaman and Gores and Synchro Monsters, and it's like, yeah, like it doesn't necessarily struggle against a deck like this because I have Incarnate, but it's like he's got the Road as well, which surprisingly he does not Road here. And I mean, I don't know why he doesn't, but maybe he just thinks he's gonna hold it for a Heavy Storm or something next turn. But yeah, here comes this. He Chain Links 2 to miss, so it misses the timing, which is smart. This is gonna attack me. So there's an so you could technically not limit reverse here, but it just feels free, right? Like it's trying to battle phase me. I guess you could maybe like revive. I mean, you could take the hit, revive Sangang, and then like search something else, but it's like it's not really anything to search other than like a monk or the rabbit. So it's like I might as well. Stops battle phase, and I get it. Yubel. Um, so this is another mistake. Yeah, you absolutely do not revive Shaman here. You put this to defense, you go for an incarnate, and then you just pass. Or maybe not. I don't know. He has bottomless. Maybe there's a chance I draw Iron Wall later. I mean, they already outed one because my deck is thinned. And then go for the play under Iron Wall, but then it's like that takes forever, and it's like I don't know, a normal. And then I try to darken. Unfortunately, because of Dark Tinker, you can't priority because it misses the timing. And then I just get bottomless. And then I resolve its effect incorrectly. I'm supposed to vanish face down or just draw and put back. But then I go for this. So it's like that interaction probably would have just happened anyway, right? So I incarnate on end phase, and here's an unfortunate interaction. 0 is mandatory, so this will always be chain link 2, and Ultimate Nightmare would just die. Like, so there's no point, right? There's no destruction protection on this card, unfortunately. So Divas, that's cool. He doesn't really have much, but I also unfortunately just have two cards that just don't do anything. Draw Torrential. I just set, you know. And then he just, yeah, it's just over, right? So next game, I side in Gozen, and I did another thing that was kind of sus. Was I sided out Mystic Tomato um, for like Raikou, and I think I sided out, so I put in something else. Yeah, I think I put in three Gozen. Yeah, I should not have sided out Tomato. That's kind of silly. So I sent Shaman. Yeah, and he has a Shadow Imprisoning, which is just gonna blow me out. It's like wow. Like, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even side in. I have literally zero outs. Like I sided out my heavy, and I sided out True Nade, which I should not have done. I should have kept in True Nade. And then like I should have sided in like at least an MST. Granted, you could argue you should probably main deck this, but it's like, you know. And then Twister, but I just did not expect Shadow Imprisoning. Obviously Raikko's just cook this deck, right? Um, only was able to side in two. I sided in Burial as well, but I just never ended up seeing it. Burial was probably not a good side deck either because I did not see Crows, so or in his hand. So yeah, I attack. Yeah, I didn't feel the need to commit. I know I have a swing, but it's like to revival the swing. By the way, Terra Incarnate, Ultimate Nightmare. This happens to me like way. I mean, the test hands you saw like last video, it's like wow, like these love being in the opening. It's kind of rough actually. So aliases. So my misplay here was that I set Gozen. I should not have set Gozen because if he has a spark, my torrential will basically just get 2 for 1 forever. So yeah, if this wasn't set, I would have 100% torrentialed on this. And yeah, I played that plays around Starlight. And yeah, of course he has a Starlight, of course. And he just have 5 back row, and this is just terrible. Like this is just awful. It's like, yeah, I have basically 2 bricks, 2 redundant cards, and a card that's not exactly live right now because I don't have the full setup. Granted, I could make it live off Greffer, but yeah, I think there's an argument to like later in the game to try to bait the spark, which is what I end up doing later, but I ended up doing it too late. So I wrote up basically for no reason. This reinforcement of army might as well just be a bluff to like bait his Gemini spark, which I end up doing later. You'll see. So Armageddon, he doesn't mirror. I don't know why. Um, he draws Dino, which is kind of funny. It's basically useless against my deck. But like completely useless. Like it dies to my Greffers and Armageddons, and like you can't set it against the Terra Incarnate. So then I swing. This is like I don't even know, man. I'm just like it's like a desperation play. Like I try and trying to just get the bottomless. I torrential. He starlights, and then I goes in to prevent starlight. To prevent this from coming out the Stardust because like why the hell? Yeah, and then yeah. I mean, what was this? This was a 3 for 2. Yeah. Not fantastic. Or no, it was a 2 for 2. Yeah, and Gozen's gonna put in work, but unfortunately, I don't know. I just do not see the cards I need. So I Lone Fire, and then yeah, and we end up getting into a ruling discussion. Not even a discussion. He's just like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I explained to him that Lone Fire can summon a tomato with Gozen up if you have another Lone Fire in deck. That's how it works in this format. But then I realized I didn't side my tomatoes, so that was awkward. So another misplay, deck building. And I'm just gonna get beat down, despite him half his hand being dead. My half of my hand is also kind of dead. I mean, Greffer's not really dead, but like, you know. Also, one shaman getting banished, unfortunate. This is why you run the burial. So I guess it wasn't technically that big of a mistake. I draw compulsory, that sucks. I set compulsory because it's useless in this situation, and it ended up baiting this. So maybe a couple turns later, I should have set Rhoda and then cook them, and then cook this later. Granted, was the what was I baiting this for? I don't know. Like, there's nothing else for me to do. Draws another spark. Draw an Armageddon. I mean, that barely does anything. I set a card in this situation. Like, it just doesn't even really matter. Like, bro did not need Shadow Imprisoning to win. Iron Wall gets just killed. So it's like, man, yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah. And then I die. And bro does not say GG, which is like, whatever, right? Yeah, so, man. Yeah, this is why, yeah, unfortunate not seeing Raikko's, not seeing, it goes and I drew it and that was good, right? Everything else though, it's just like, damn, yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, Hero Beat is like, yeah, I literally just literally lost to just back, like, this is basically gadgets, but just more conditional, which is like not good. So, anyways, next video, I will be cooking and playing Yubel my list, and we'll see how that goes. Um, this does shoot probably should not be in the side. I think there was something else I wanted to side, but I did not remember. Um, but yeah, maybe charge is silly. Anyways, I will have the uncut footage of me going into ranked and doing the slow gameplay shenanigans on my uncut playlist that's unlisted in my playlist channel. So yeah, I'll see y'all around tomorrow. This is day one, taking Yubel and trying to master this deck, which is allegedly low tier. So I'll take it to the top though. Don't worry. I'm playing anyways. See y'all.